What is up, fellow summoners? Happy Friday to you all. Welcome back to the channel today. I wanted to cover one of my favorite characters right now, Rhino, and I'm going to spend the majority of the time talking about how to play against him because he's very unique in his abilities. But if you can remember back, if you've been playing, long enough, Rhino was probably one of the worst characters in the game. If you can believe that, he was like a worse abomination. He didn't hit very hard. Kind of imagine like a low-rank Groot without any of his buffs. That's kind of what you were working with there. He had a little bit of armor, but absolutely no utility. It was kind of a slap in the face that he was the reward for Realm of Legends. And even my first 5-star pull was a Rhino, and at that time he wasn't changed, and I was just not really happy about that. But they made just a slight adjustment to him. Obviously, with his animation, his dash forward is unstoppable, which doesn't sound like a huge deal until you actually play with him and realize that you cannot be intercepted, and you've got a good chance to be unblockable as well. So he's pretty much dummy-proof. You just evade back and dash forward, and you just keep doing it over and over and over again. He has enough armor that even if the enemy is able to intercept you with one hit, it's going to do minimal damage, and you're just going to be able to plow right through it and keep hitting them. My particular Rhino, I think I've got him awakened to level like 72, but he's got like 25,000 health. He's just a monster. I mean, even when I practice, so I go into Realm of Legends, I can take probably 20-30 hits from Red Hulk before he's able to take my Rhino down. But basically, that's it in a nutshell. The offensive side of Rhino is pretty simplistic, pretty straightforward. Not to say that it's boring. It's a lot of fun to play, but again, it is straightforward. On the leaderboards, the two Rhinos that I have found, if you didn't want to look up my name, to duel me, I found one at number 91, which he does have recoil, and I think that's the second duel that I'll show you. But I found a better one down at 100, so he's really close to either moving up the list or falling right off of it. But right now he's, I think, level awakened ability 100, so he's got a pretty good PI boost there. But he doesn't have recoil, so that's a really good spot to practice at, and that's the one I'll show you here at the beginning. Before I get into the fight, I kind of want to explain my tactics here, so you can kind of look out for them. You really want to be in control of when Rhino is going to be able to dash forward and become unstoppable. And the way that you do that is you keep the space between you and Rhino as minimal as possible for the majority of the fight. And you do that by pushing him back into a corner. Really, the only time that you're wanting to put distance between you and Rhino is when you are trying to bait out a special. So what you'll see at the beginning is what I'm looking to do is for him to dash back and block, and that is when I'm going to move forward and I'm going to attack into his block and I'm going to push him back, and then I'm going to remove myself, evade back again, and wait for him to do that until I finally got him backed into a corner. Once you have him backed into a corner, there are really only two areas that you're going to be able to attack him. You're going to need to watch out for his heavy attack, because when you finish a combo, you're going to immediately want to go into a block, and if you are unable to parry him, the AI a lot of times wants to try to break your block, and so he's going to try to do a heavy attack, which for as big of a character as he is, he will surprise you with how quick his heavy attack is, so watch out for that. And then secondly, you constantly want to try, and even if you're hitting him while he's blocking, that's fine because you are pushing him into his special. And as much as possible, you don't want to push him into his S2, not because it's difficult to evade, but you really only want to keep him using his S1 because that gives you more opportunities and more openings to go in and do damage. So watch out for all of those things. I'm going to go ahead and start the fight here. It all kind of moves sort of quickly, so I wanted to take some time there to kind of show you what I was thinking, what I was doing. So as you can see there, we're kind of evading back. We're waiting for him to block like that. And as you see, you can push him back pretty far. Really, not just him, but all characters you can push back pretty far when they're blocking. And at this point, I'm just implementing basically everything that I've said. You'll notice how many times he does try. And right here I'm trying to to bait out the special, which is why I'm giving him a little distance. But as soon as that's over, I'm going to go ahead and push him back into the corner and immediately put up my block. and I'm either going to get the parry, or he may hit me a couple times and then try to break, like you can see there. He constantly is trying to break the block. So really, I mean, that sounds fairly simplistic, but it is certainly something that you'll want to practice. I obviously am showing you my best runs. Do not be fooled. I probably had, I think, 2 runs prior to this that I won, but they just were not as clean. The biggest thing that you will run into is you will forget that you cannot intercept him. And I found myself doing that constantly. It's sort of like when I play up against Black Panther Civil Warrior in Alliance Wars. I know that I cannot stun him while he has armor up, but I'm so used to parrying that a lot of times, you know, I just forget. And it's the same thing here with Rhino. I'm so used to getting into my rhythm, and I'm so used to going in for the intercept that I will forget a lot of times, and that's when he's going to hit you and do a lot of damage. So basically, we're just rinsing and repeating here. We're keeping him in the corner because that is when you're able to control him. When you are that close to him, even when he does a heavy attack, he will not become unstoppable, and therefore will not have a chance to become unblockable as well. So I'm going to speed up the fight a little bit, and I will pick it back up here towards the end. Okay, coming back to the end of the fight here, which this was a very long fight. Not many times when you're dueling are you going to get in over 100 hits. But I kind of wanted to get a character that wasn't going to hit very hard, because I knew that it would give me a lot of opportunities kind of to show you the gameplay. This next one, I'm going up against the Rhino that was at number 91 on the leaderboards, which his PI is crazy. It's up over 10,000, which if you were aware or not, which I wasn't aware, the update to the prestige list actually has Rhino as a 5-star as the highest prestige. Which he doesn't get that way until, you know, higher levels in his awakened ability. I think Magic is ahead of him, but towards 100, awakened ability 100 and up, I think he passes Magic. So that kind of puts me in a little bit of spot. I was going to rank down my Rhino and put that into Magic for her prestige, but now it doesn't look like I have to do that. Anyway, that was totally off topic. Here again, same tactics. We're keeping him in the corner. With Civil Warrior, it's a little bit easier to block just because of his block proficiency. And do keep in mind, right now, speaking of block proficiency, since it is so screwed up, you're probably going to be taking a lot of damage if you are using characters that are not more heavily armored, like Civil Warrior. You know, if you were trying to do this tactic of blocking, you know, when you have them in a corner like this, you know, with like, I don't know, Kamala Khan, a Miss Marvel, an Electro, you know, any of the squishier characters, Black Widow, you know, you're probably going to get yourself killed just because the block proficiency is so screwed up. But just keep that in mind. Hopefully that is getting fixed here shortly. And that is going to wrap this video up. I know it wasn't real long, but basically Rhino is a pretty simplistic character, but actually being able to implement that is not quite as easy as it may seem. So definitely get on the leaderboards. As always, practice while you have time. With no Alliance Wars, no Alliance Quests going on right now, we got quite a bit of time on our hands to be able to practice these things. Alright guys, as always, thanks for the support. Leave any questions in the comments. Happy to answer them for you as best that I can. Until I see you in the next video, have a great day.